Companies are no longer hiring women.
Impunidad para mi asesino. Esta desaparición es la violación. Y la culpa no era mía ni dónde estaba ni cómo decía.
But 5 years on from what became known as the Me Too movement, there's a growing backlash. Some influential people argue it's become divisive, pitting the sexes against each other with an assumption of male guilt, leaving many young men feeling marginalised.
People have been after me for a long time because I've been speaking to disaffected young men.
The full explosive interview airs tomorrow night, but here's a little taster of that.
I believe that confident, strong men who stand up and protect and provide for women are a good thing for the world and a good force for the world. I think there's a whole bunch of men in the world who understands my value. And if men grow up to be like me, you're going to have a whole bunch of people with no criminal record, dedicated athletes who protect and provide for the people close to them, are fantastic for the economy. And I'm certainly not the worst influence out here, Piers.
I found it very interesting interviewing Jordan Peterson and Andrew Tate, both very controversial characters in different ways, both positioned as a kind of kings of toxic masculinity.
The Me Too movement has collapsed under its own weight. It was well-intentioned starting out, but you know what the road to hell is paved with. No one should have to put up with sexual harassment in the workplace or anywhere for that matter. But many less than honest women saw dollar signs and jumped on the bandwagon. Now a lot of men don't want to work with a woman. We live in a selfish age, and there are people who want theirs and will resort to anything to get it. Imagine you are a business owner or an executive, and you have two equally talented candidates for a position in a predominantly male company. One of them has the power to destroy your career or the career of a colleague with a tweet. The other does not. Who do you hire? Even if this business owner or executive is a woman doing the hiring, she must recognize and mitigate potential liabilities to her company and those in the company. Yes, this is totally unfair and sexist. I wish it wasn't happening. One might say, well, get rid of the men who harass. That still doesn't protect the company 100%, because even if you educate and vet every man you hire and employ, inappropriate comments or dating will occur, which could result in allegations. Even false allegations are possible, again leaving the company open to lawsuits, public embarrassment, and brand erosion. I've seen articles and opinion pieces written by both men and women about the backlash to the Me Too movement that essentially concludes, business leaders should take the high ground and hire more women anyway, give them opportunities, mentor them, and promote them. That's the solution. Yes, in a perfect, equitable world, that makes sense and is the right thing to do. It is. But that's not how the vast majority of businesses work. They run on fear and greed, not on aspirations. They are risk-averse. They look at the short term, not the long term. Companies have stopped hiring worm. Yes, this is already happening. Business travel with mixed sexes is being curtailed. Women are being shut out of one-on-one meetings with men unless there's a third person present. Men are talking about going our own way in Silicon Valley. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is the perfect predictor of this. Until lower needs of safety and security are met, there's no energy or desire for a higher level. As of yet, short of installing body cams on men and women, we have no protection or proof. Since the Me Too movement seems okay with collateral damage, and there's no mechanism yet for restoring confidence in men who are accused, short of firing them, fewer women will be hired and promoted, unless they are exceptionally talented or employed in women-dominated business or profession. Of course, it will also mean that more women-owned companies or departments will hire more women and fewer men to also offset the risk. However, since women-owned businesses are still the minority, the net result will still be fewer women hired and promoted in the short term. Men are afraid. Even those who are innocent are afraid of being falsely accused because there is simply no recourse if they are. Never underestimate the motivating power of fear. As a general rule, interacting with women can end your career immediately and without recourse. The benefit, by contrast, is identical to the benefit provided by male colleagues in the ideal scenario. If you have put, by way of example, 10 years of post-secondary education and another 15 to 20 of experience into your career, the investment is too important to risk. Consider two boxes. Both probably contain a coconut. The one on the right is also wired with a grenade. Do you attempt to disarm the right box, or simply open the left? As a man, you make one innocent comment to a female colleague in the workplace that is construed as offensive, and you're fucked. Personally, I wish all schools and places of employment were separated by gender, so we wouldn't have these potential problems. See, there has always been a lot of honey trapping, but the moment the Me Too movement, and Believe Her movements, were found to be the same thing, guys responded predictably. Simply put, most men are now avoiding contact with women in the workplace, and even outside the workplace. Now, some here may think, oh, that's awesome, peace and quiet. The thing is, it's all men, from upper management to janitorial staff, and even waiters and male nurses and firefighters. See, this avoidance culture is practically an existential threat to women. Let's start with a hypothetical scenario. Firefighters, their main gig is to tackle fires, not rescue folks from them. Now, if they're dodging interactions with women, it means women trapped in burning buildings might not get rescued. Instead, all focus goes into dousing the flames. At best, these women suffer severe burns, or they might not make it out at all. And hey, let's not forget about female firefighters. If they're sidelined from units, it's a double whammy. They're out there trying to save lives, but if it's a woman in need, it could end up being 2 funerals. See, being a firefighter is all about fire, not dealing with people, right? Based on reports, there's this trend among men to steer clear of interactions with women at work. This means essential services might not be as accessible to women anymore. And let's face it, men are all about efficiency, so they might not be in a rush to change this setup. Mentorship opportunities are drying up, and those crucial networking meetings, they're becoming exclusive guy-only zones. And hey, they've got their reasons, right? Me Too didn't just reinforce the old boys clubs, it practically built fortresses around them, making it nearly impossible for outsiders to crack in. This movement has given employers some serious wake-up calls, shaping a work environment that's pretty hostile for women. But hey, as long as the job gets done, most bosses couldn't care less who's getting left out. Business runs on hard facts, not feelings. If men are getting the job done, and women, politically correct or not, are seen as obstacles to team building, well, guess who's getting the boot? It's all about the bottom line. If things are rolling smoothly, great. If not, heads will roll, regardless of gender. My close friend is a CEO and serial entrepreneur, quite wealthy. I asked him why companies are having second thoughts about hiring women. He said every CEO he knows has stopped hiring women in top roles. Why? Because women can and will destroy a startup with a single lawsuit. Every employee loses their job, and every investor gets burned. People lose their homes and their families, and they end up living in RVs on El Camino Real. It's barbaric what the legal system does with these lawsuits. Women have destroyed themselves. Then I asked him again, Jude, aren't you worried about being sued for not hiring enough women? He said no, that it's a negligible risk. There you have it. Anyway, that's all for today on Manhood. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe buttons, and also click on the notification bell to be the first to know when I drop a new video. If you find value in my videos, you can show your support through PayPal or Cash App. The links are in the description. See you next time. Cheers.